Let's chat today about a candle from Kringle's Fall 2026 release. Greetings, fellow candle fans. My name is Andrea. Welcome to Candle Chatter. Taking center stage today is Aspen Ridge. I thought I'd do this review out here in my screened-in porch, also known as my happy place, because honestly, it just seems like the perfect setting for this fragrance. As I mentioned, Aspen Ridge is part of Kringle's Fall 2026 release. It comes in the 22-ounce 3-wick soy candle, and personally, I just adore this format. I think these vessels are beautiful. They have such an elegant look when displayed in your home, and the label on Aspen Ridge is absolutely gorgeous. It reminds me of one of those crisp, clear fall days when the trees have reached peak color, exactly the kind of day when you want to sit outside, like on a screened-in porch, with a cup of coffee and enjoy everything autumn has to offer. My little ravine back here turns yellow in the fall. There aren't a lot of other colors back there, but it's just like a sea of gold, and it's so pretty. I also want to mention that this particular vessel has a label without the newer edges that Kringle is currently using, particularly on their Halloween launch. I've experienced no bubbling or no gapping whatsoever with this label. Enough about the vessel. Let's talk about the fragrance. Scent notes are apple and wood. That's the top. Middle is fir needle and spice. The base is vanilla and spice. Okay, so what do I smell? On cold sniff, the sweet, juicy apple is definitely dominant to my nose. I do detect a woody quality, but it isn't the first thing that jumps out at me. The fir needle is there, although honestly it hangs out more quietly in the background. There is also a vanilla note, but it's mild. And then we have the spice. Or do we? Because honestly, even though spice is listed twice in the fragrance notes, on cold sniff, I don't find Aspen Ridge particularly spicy at all. Now, once we start burning, things do change a little. During my first two burns, Aspen Ridge became much more of a fir needle forward fragrance. The apple was still present, but it faded into the background while that fir needle really stepped forward. I have to admit, that made me a little nervous. Why? Well, because I'm fairly sensitive to strong fir and pine fragrances. If they are too dominant, they tend to give me a headache. So after those first couple of burns, I was wondering if Aspen Ridge and I were going to have a problem. But in the end, there was absolutely no need for concern, because by the third burn, Aspen Ridge changed again. And this is where I really began to love it. The fragrance developed into this beautiful, fresh, sweet apple scent with richness and depth and just a bit of fir running through it. The fir was no longer taking center stage. Instead, it became part of the overall fragrance, blending in nicely, giving the apple a fresh, outdoorsy quality. Now, what about all that spice listed in the notes? Personally, I still don't get much of it. There is a woody quality and a certain warmth that could be coming from something like clove, but to my nose, there is nothing overly spicy about Aspen Ridge. Your nose may tell you something different, though, and honestly, that's one of the things that makes home fragrance so much fun. We could all burn the exact same candle and smell something slightly different. So what about strength and throw? Well, both were very good. I would put Aspen Ridge at about an 8 to 8.5 out of 10 in my open concept space. In fact, it was actually too strong for me in my smaller closed concept rooms. And here's the real test. My husband could smell it. Now, friends, that is saying something because frankly, my husband can't smell much when it comes to candles. Most fragrances either smell like candle or wax to him. So if he notices a fragrance burning, I know that candle is putting in some work. As for the wicks, they performed beautifully. The burn was stellar. It was nice and clean and completely problem-free. I really have no complaints at all about the performance of the candle. So what are my final thoughts on Aspen Ridge? I love it, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. If you're a seasonal burner, I think this is one you could easily enjoy from September right through November. But I could also see Aspen Ridge working beautifully during the holidays, especially for someone who enjoys that fresh evergreen feeling but doesn't want an overwhelmingly pine or fir heavy fragrance. And if you happen to be sensitive to those notes like I am, this might be a nice option. Personally, I'd even burn Aspen Ridge post-holidays in January or February. That fresh apple, wood, and touch of fir, in my opinion, would work beautifully during those colder months. I also think this could be a really good blending fragrance. If you want to bring out more spice by burning it alongside something like kitchen spice from Kringle, if you happen to have that one, or perhaps warm apple pie, which is it would add a little note of pie crust and spice to the fragrance. If you burn across brands, I think Painted Woodlands from Gift Gala or Autumn Leaves from Caramel Sundays could be wonderful cousins to Aspen Ridge. You could burn them in different areas of your home and create a beautiful progression of fragrance as you walk from room to room. Overall, I'm very happy that I have Aspen Ridge in my collection, and I highly recommend it. I think this is one of those fragrances that will appeal to a lot of people because you get that sweet, fresh apple, a little woodiness, warmth, and just enough fir to give it an outdoorsy autumn quality without turning it into a Christmas tree candle. At least that's what my nose is telling me. Thank you so much for watching today, my friends. If you enjoy content like this, please consider subscribing, and giving the video a like. It really does help the channel. And if you have Aspen Ridge, I'd love to hear what your nose is telling you. Do you get more apple? More fir? Are you actually smelling all that spice that seems to be hiding from me? Good or bad, please share your experience in the comments. That information is helpful to all of us, especially when we're trying to decide which fragrance might be right for our home and where we will want to spend our hard-earned cash. Until next time, you take good care of yourselves, okay? Bye for now.